Okay, we are here at the Coken Woodford Glen Speedway for the 2021 Modified Championship. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm Vince, and it's a beautiful sunny day here. We have 30 of the best modified drivers here that are ready to race for the New Zealand title. And it's going to be absolutely epic. What do you reckon, Aaron?
Yeah, mate, we have been waiting for this. Obviously, the event was moved from in February down here to March. Everyone has still made it. 30 cars to go out on the track and entertain you guys over the next couple of nights. It's going to be amazing. How are you doing, Vince?
Here for the finals of Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs, Aaron.
Interesting, some of the contact early in that race. If Newton on the track's taken the race, Cochran versus ended in Decorator's group. Gary led him back to McPhee. Really interesting with some of the contact there. If Jacko got pinged for the contact he caused the previous race, and Ian White gets given the Taranaki side slap on the way down there. There's a fair chance Newton might want to just be a little bit nervous if the referee saw that.
Newton Gorge, we're just going to have a quick chat with you, mate. Winning that race, all good, mate?
Oh, yeah. I'll probably get into trouble, but anyway. Yeah, you just touch a guy and next minute it's all hell let loose. But anyway, that's the way it is.
Oh, so you had a little bit of a touch, was it with Dan Ray there into turn 3?
Yeah, 24, I think it was a blue one. Yeah, which was unfortunate, but anyway, you don't deliberately do these things, for God's sake.
I am here with 24C Dan Ray. It's not all fun and games for you, mate. After Newton Gorge 21S got relegated, something happened and you have been kicked out of the New Zealand Championships. Can you tell us what's happened?
Yeah, we sort of got together after the yellow. It wasn't intentional on my part. I sort of just gave him a hand gesture and then we ended up. It doesn't look good for me anyway. So yeah, that's that. And now weekend's done. So yeah.
So essentially it stemmed from the incident that happened in turn 3 and 4 where he came across or hit you, and then afterwards you came up and just gave him a hand gesture, rubbed him, and then it turned into something you didn't intend to, and now the blame's placed at your feet and your weekend's over. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I don't know how someone can get away with consistently hitting cars in the same corner every race and still be able to race. So it just doesn't make sense to me, but it's not my decision. So
yeah. All right, well, I'm really sad to see that you're out of the championships.
There's a couple of wee incidents and bits and pieces I want to discuss with the head referee that's here, Bill Clarkson. Bill, one of the things I want to talk to you about, obviously, is there's an incident involving Dan Ray last night. So I just want you to try and explain why that all happened and how it all come about.
Yeah, so Dan Ray and Newton Gorge got together in turn 4, I think it was. And after the checkered flag, Dan retaliated on Newton, which resulted in Dan getting a 22-day stand down and a referral to the board.
So let's break that down a wee bit. So there was an on-field incident involving both the cars, which was not Dan Ray's fault. Unfortunately, Dan then decided to take it into his own actions, what happened, which then, of course, you didn't really have to worry about the first incident because the second incident overruled the first one. Is that correct?
No, we still dealt with the first incident. It doesn't negate what happened. So initially what we did is we dealt with the first incident. So Newton was relegated 2 spots. Funnily enough, not for contact, actually for passing over the pole line. When we reviewed the video, Ray came down on Newton, but Newton was over the pole line. Contact was made and Newton carried on. And as we know, you can't use the pole line to gain an advantage, so he got a 2-spot relegation. The penalty is exactly the same for the contact, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. It was a 2-spot relegation. So as a referee, I deal with what's called R rules, which is racing rules. At the end, once the checkered flag has been shown, the race then finished, anything that happens then falls under the steward, under M rule. M is basically general rules. So that meant that the steward then dealt with the retaliation afterwards. So the on-track incident was dealt with and the retaliation was dealt with. So.
Now there's a bit of a misconception here that basically because the checkered flag had come out, was under orange light conditions, that the referee doesn't actually have a say in what happens after that point. It actually comes down to the clerk of the course. Now that's incorrect, so explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean, the referee does still have, say we can talk about things that we've seen, but anything on track. So you've got the clerk of the course that's obviously involved in there as well, but when it comes to incidents on the track, such as the retaliation, that falls under the steward, and that the steward also has the power when it comes into the pits as well. So for argument's sake, that incident continued into the pits, then obviously there would be some more stuff that would happen with things that happen in the pits, but that didn't happen.
Okay, so let's talk about the penalties in relation to all this. Obviously, a 22-day stand down is what you've issued to Dan Ray and a referral to the board. So, is that really, does the crime suit the time he's going to get, or do you think it reflects exactly the punishment he should have got?
Well, that's not for me to say. That's the fixed penalties, and that's what it is. My own personal experience, there's a lot of money tied up in these cars, and I've owned them. When you finish the race, especially in open wheel type vehicles and modifieds, you're not expecting somebody to come and clout into your car. There could have been damage to both cars, which could have put them out of the New Zealand title. And really, leave it on the racetrack. And if there's a problem, let the referees deal with it. And as we would have. It's unfortunate for both drivers, and it's unfortunate for Dan Ray as well, but as I said, the fixed penalty is the fixed penalty.
Consistency is what you're looking for when it comes to rulings throughout tracks throughout New Zealand. The consistency is such that a couple of weeks ago a similar thing happened with some production drivers with the same outcome. And I think from what I understand, it's not a good thing if you do retaliate on the track, because if you don't do anything about it, then it opens it up for other people in other classes to perhaps maybe do the same thing. So where do you draw the line?
Well, that's exactly right. The rules are the rules. If we allowed people to get away with it, then it would just be wildfire. And it's the same in every sport. I mean, it's the same in rugby. They don't allow retaliation or any of that sort of carry on. So just play by the rules, play fair, play hard, and everything's good.
As we look to the grids here, courtesy of PG Hydraulics and Value Cars, the whole position is going to be the 11A of Jamie Foxx. To the outside of him, Bunter Pierce. So here now he moves to the front row in the 67S. 18C of Mitchell, with the outside of him is Massey in the 11C. Bailey Patterson, the 5C, with Steve Thompson, the 54 GM. Hayden Corbin, the 22C, beside him, the 53 of Hunter. And our last row looks like Mike Gurley with Sinclair in the 82C. So the back row is going to be pushing forward.
Yeah, so keep your eye on 54 and 4 and 82 from the back. It's going to be interesting.
Fairy Dust is down at 3. We're in the starter's hands. Bunter Pierce is leading us through. We are on it and we are go. And it's a drag race, Fox versus Pierce. These two aren't giving any ground to each other. They are so close. We're going 3 wide with Sinclair mid-pack. He's just screamed round past 4 cars in the first corner. Out in front, it is Fox. Back to Pierce. Mitchell's trying to hang on to these. The front 3 have bolted. We predicted that. And it's a bit bouncy and a bit hairy out there. Look who's come through. Sinclair is almost up on the back of Thompson. Thompson is moving forward as well. Oh, we got really unsettled in the 67K. He did a little dance, almost like an Irish chick as he came off turn 3. Oh, we've got Sinclair pulled to the infield. Well, I don't know if he got pulled or fired. Something's wrong with the 82 car. And so the 54 car.
54's stopping by the wall.
And we're going to go yellow. So that'll be an incident that we didn't see. And I think Sinclair knows, and he'll go and rejoin where he feels he should be if he can. Has he lost a tyre out of this? Thompson couldn't buy luck if it was bad at the moment. As we head to Enviro Waste, it is the 11 car in lead. Back to Mitchell. We are in the starter's hands. We are racing, the revs build and we're gone. And Fox senses he's got a bit of clear air around him. Mitchell's going to have a crack though. He is on it right on. We move back to Pierce with Patterson and Gurley. The one who's going to make the moves here, I'm picking, is going to be the 4C of Mike Gurley. Bunter's all out of shape. Bailey Patterson's parked himself on the wall. We're going to go for a restart here. The yellow will be on. That was a little unusual. It's like he just lost all.
It's like he lost drive. Yeah, it was all. I don't think there was any contact there. I think it was just all mechanical.
And Mitchell, one of the up and comers in the Glenn Leach Lovelady chassis, back to Bunter Pierce, and then Mike Gurley. We're racing once again, and Foxy just leaves them for it. Mitchell's going to come in hard and fast in the 18k. He's got that low line, but I sense that Foxy just has the drive out of 2. We go back to Bunter, and then Gurley in the 4. And Gurley not catching the 67 car like he predicted. Mitchell looked to the inside of the 11, had to back out of it. Car squatted down, got really unsettled down the front straight. Pierce having to go back at the 18, but Fox is in command of this race. Across the start-finish line once again, it is the CSL car. Back to Mitchell. He's going. Mitchell has way more momentum going into turn 1, but Fox has better drive coming off 2. They head down to Enviro Waste. This is where the race is being won. Fox just keeps it smooth through there. He's found the groove that he wants to sit in, and Bunter's car, the track has come to him. Gurley hasn't got the forward momentum on the 67 car to even catch him, let alone make a pass. And actually the 22 car of Corbett looks like he's catching Gurley as well. As we clock down another lap. Jamie Fox comfortably in the lead. He's opened the gap almost the length of the grandstand over Jacob Mitchell. As we head through Enviro Waste, Bunter Pierce comes into Enviro Waste super quick, gets a little taily. Gurley's car, something's wrong with it. He's up high and almost like he's washing out, and the 22 car of Corbett's having a crack. Yeah, do we look? Gurley's got enough in a straight line. As we head through Enviro Waste once again, Fox crosses for another one, back to Mitchell, Pierce. Now Gurley's found his groove. It's taken him the best part of 6 laps to find it, but he's pulled away on the 22 car, but alas, I think you might run out of laps to catch Bunter Pierce at this point. Mitchell's car not quite as smooth through Enviro Waste, but he's doing enough. He's a little unsettled going into 1. He lost a little bit of time there. Bunter caught him. Fox is gone. You know, he's going to be back. He's going to be back in the pits eating a hot dog before the rest of the guys finish. Bunter comes in hard into 3, and Mike Gurley's right there. Brian's picked up the white flag, so as Fox comes around next lap, he will pick up the white flag. The battle's here between Bunter and Gurley, and if Bunter gets out of shape here, Mike's going to gobble him up. He gets way taily. Gurley's all over the back. Mitchell's running second at the moment. We're on the last lap. Fox is going to go past the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand. He's just going to bring it home. The battle is for 3rd. Mitchell's comfortably 2nd. Bunter leads us for 3rd into Enviro Waste. Fox has taken the race win. Back to Mitchell, and heavily defending, it is Bunter Pierce for 3rd.
Wow, Jamie Fox showing all of his class and then some there. Jacob Mitchell, great drive, really good drive from a young fella. Didn't really look like he was ever going to get close to Fox or pass him, other than possibly in that first lap or so. But similar lines and similar commitment, and that will have done his confidence a world of good.
That's probably the best I've seen Jacob run, to
yeah,
be fair. He
I would agree.
Unfortunately got a little unsettled down the front straight here. When the car sits back down on the left rear, it was really making it a handful. But bear in mind, even when Glenn Leach, oh no, that's not that was the chassis that he liked. That was the one he wanted to keep, and they put Jacob into it. And that one, interesting to note though, front right tyre on the 18 car is now flat. So he was fighting that through that race.
Yeah. You get it slightly wrong, it's wrong. You know, in a modified.
It's yeah, if you get it, it's a long way back. I guess in a super saloon, and most of the modern supers have got some sort of weight adjustment or weight checkers in them. You don't have that in one of these. In a sprint car, you've got all sorts of things you can tweak and push and pull and whatever you need to do. But in a modified, you basically bolt the drivers to the seat, and hopefully they're the adjustability of the car. So and I guess that's where the racecraft, that's where you see someone like a Jamie Foxx who has the ability to adapt. He's raced every track in the country. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, we are here with the 69C, Andrew Naven, running the Edge Parts and Performance car. So, Bare Bones Racing. Yep, so New Zealand title, it's finally here, mate. We've waited and waited. You're the class rep actually down here for the mods, aren't you?
That's correct, yep.
Absolutely. So you guys have just been building all season, just consistently going through, doing your job. How are you feeling about the title?
Yeah, pretty good. So the car's probably the best we've had it. We're as good as we've been. So yeah, we're hopeful.
Magic, mate. So, and what sort of car are you running? What sort of chassis and engine you running in this beast?
Okay, so we run a Triple X chassis, which is Edge Parts and Performance style of chassis, Chevy engine and the Camaro body.
Excellent. And it's not just about driver. You guys have got a pretty amazing team. So so who helps you out with your racing?
Yeah, so our biggest thing is got to go to Tubby because he's actually the car owner. So I get the pleasure of actually driving this beast, which is pretty cool. Then we've got my partner Mel, and so I've got to thank her for all the time that we spend on the car and not at home. And I've got my daughter Tash, Craig. We've got a couple missing tonight, obviously with Todd and Liv, and then Craig's partner fighting down there. So yeah, it's a good crew. They work their asses off, and without them, we're nothing. So it's good.
Absolutely. So home track advantage, how much do you reckon that means here?
A little bit, but it's not everything. Hey, look, there's a massive group here of really talented drivers. So yep, it's anybody's.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolutely class field. We've got some of the best here for this weekend. So now, other than the racing, obviously Edge Parts and Performance, you guys are out there selling a lot of Speedway stuff and things like that. So anyone out of that audience there today, if someone wants to get into Speedway, how do they go about that?
Just a simple phone call to us at Edge, 0800 Parts, and we'll guide them.
Yep. So, and you guys look after everything, sort of mini stock cars, modifieds. You're not just a modified store; it's an everything store, right?
Yes, yeah. We do trackers, and we'll help anybody, and it doesn't matter what they drive; it's their passion, and we'll help them with it.
Yeah, so that's it, folks. So these are a set of people that you can talk to if you are looking at getting into Speedway. That's for sure. So back to this event. Obviously, things have been building in Christchurch for quite a while. You guys have got a real strong field of Christchurch guys, so stick together and stick it to them out there. What do you reckon?
As the pan say, it does help us on a week-to-week basis because the guys we have got here are top of the line. So you're racing good guys all the time, and hopefully that'll show this weekend, and the cream of the crop will rise, and it will be Canterbury.
Well, 69C, Bare Bones Racing, Andrew Naven, we better let you get over to the driver's briefing. All the best for this weekend, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Now, Aaron, we know what these machines can do. They're very powerful going around those tracks and watching them racing side by side. Absolutely incredible stuff, right? But sometimes it doesn't always go to plan.
No, it doesn't always go to plan, and that's the thing. So we've got a bit of a clip coming up to show you guys, and this isn't about highlighting all the drama. This is just showing the experience and what goes into protecting these drivers. Motorsport is definitely a dangerous sport, but it's equally very well organised. So the volunteers here, the emergency services people, when things do go wrong, they just get straight in there and get things sorted out. So let's have a look at that.
Jonas is in the lead once more. Oh no! Oh my god! And we have Tony Zender up on the wall. Absolutely horrible impacts.
Oh, that does not look good, Vince. Oh, that is straight into the concrete wall. We really hope Tony is going to be okay. That is a massive impact.
Just look at that way that car dives sideways. That would just be absolutely torturous to be inside. Geez, that does not look good.
It certainly doesn't. It certainly doesn't. The safety in these cars is pretty good, so let's hope that Tony is okay.
Yeah, well, I'd be surprised if he was, to be honest, but man, look at that thing. You've got the clerk of the course running out to him now. I think, here's the ambulance.
It is the ambulance, and I'm not surprised. That was one of the biggest shunts I've seen.
Value Cars Warehouse bringing us this race, which is the Edge Parts versus the Koken Group.
So that puts us at Heat 6. Front row is going to be Ian White, 32 GM. To the outside of Nathan Astle in the 10C car. Evan Nicol in the 13C will be in the second row. To the outside will be Jacko in the 71S. We move through to Daniel Crump in the 63A. 3NZ Luke Brown to the outside of him. Parker in the 21H with Dan Ray beside him. And rounding us out, it is Jason Scott in the 88T and the 1NZ of Lane. This has all the hallmarks, Tony, of being a very, very interesting race.
And that front row of Ian White and Nathan Astle may get gobbled up by the cars behind them. Let's see. We're about to go green. We're about to go racing. And away we go. And Nathan Astle leads us around the outside. But the 71 of Jacko looking very sharp there. Has to go quite high and deep into 1. And he cuts back. He's going to look for the inside line in 3 and 4. Everyone's got through the back straight okay. So we're just about to complete a lap. Nathan Astle has got that 10 car fair humming at the moment. And Jacko trying to come back at him. But Astle's got the line to be able to shut him down. Luke Brown's come through into 3rd place. Ian White dropping back there, and there's the 1NZ car not far behind Ian White. He's made up a lot of ground already. Crump in the 63 cars keeping station there, and there's quite a few at the back. The 21, the 88 and the 13 all racing together. Looks as though the 88's got real issues with some drivetrain issues there. Sparks coming off the back of that car. So Nathan Astle in the 10 machine. He's got 3 or 4 car lengths over Jackson in the 71, who's just nipped around the outside of the 3NZ car. We've got a few car lengths back to Ian White, who's having a good battle with the 1NZ. Brad Lane should be able to take him at some point, but Ian White, he's a crafty campaigner and he's going to make it hard for Lane. Lane slips up the inside there. White could have chopped him off, but he didn't, thought better of it. Brad Lane takes over 4th place, but that's cost him a bit of time, and the front 3 have got away a little bit from Brad Lane. So Astle in the 10, he's got about 4 or 5 car lengths over Jackson in the 71, who's barely a car length ahead of the 3NZ of Brown. Rapidly coming back, further back is the 1NZ car, and dropping back a little further is the 32 of Ian White and the 63 of Crump. The other 3 just not in it. So Nathan Astle having very definitely his best race of the night, his best race for a long time here at Woodford Glen. That 10 car fair humming along now, and he's got a good lead over the 3NZ of Luke Brown, who in turn has got 4 or 5 car lengths over Jackson in the 71, and the 1NZ car still holding on to 4th place but not able to make a lot of progress on these front 3. Get the feeling that the best of the track has been and gone for Brad Lane, and whereas for Nathan Astle, he's just absolutely giving it heaps. Luke Brown closing on him. You'd expect Luke Brown to be just a little quicker, but he's got a long way to go to catch Astle. Astle has the lead, and he's not going to give it up in a hurry. So down the back straight, past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand, into Enviroways turn goes Nathan Astle in that Basic Transport 10C car. He's leading the 3NZ of Luke Brown. They're getting past the lap traffic, the 13 of Evan Nicol there. That's allowed the 1NZ to close on the back of 71, but I don't know if he's going to have enough laps left to do much about it. Astle takes the white flag now. Luke Brown, I think, is going to have to settle for 2nd place here, and it's a long way back to the battle for 3rd. Will Brad Lane be able to get past Jacko on the last corner? He'll probably give it a go. Comes in pretty hot, but he thinks better of it. He just takes the inside line, and Jacko's got just enough coming out of 4 to take the 3rd place.
Brad Lane wasn't going to die wondering, was he?
He wasn't, was he? No.
And to be fair, probably one of the best runs we've seen of Nathan Astle in the Basic number 10. Absolutely hauling, and you just kind of wonder, given I saw Greg Keegan lurking in the pits, and that being Luke Keegan's old car, whether he's been down, had a wee chat to him. But Luke Brown, he started on 6, finished on 2. He picked up 4 spots.
Yep.
4 extra points. You look at the 1NZ, he started on the back in 10th, and he came home 4th. So he's picked up 6 spots. These are valuable points. So Brad Lane is leading on points at the moment. Still 1 round to go though, so there's still a whole bunch of guys in the mid-teens that haven't tallied the points. But at the moment it is Lane, McPhee, Brown.
Okay, we're down here with Nathan Estel, mate. Got out there, got out in the front, and went pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's always nice to have clear air in it and nothing in front of you, but you've still got to make those count. Had a pretty average first heat, went back a couple of places, so yeah, get one under the belt and a win and get 10 points is bloody good.
Yeah, absolutely, because you guys had a little bit of engine trouble. You managed to get the car all back together, and you've made it here to the New Zealand champs, because this is your first year in the class, so that's something at least.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think I'm lucky to be here. I've had a bit of bad luck this year. I think I've only done like 3 full meetings, so this is my 4th. So loving the class, loving the guys, just enjoying being involved, and obviously your support's even better.
Yeah, magic, mate. No, we really appreciate that. So yeah, we hope that the rest of your meeting goes as good as that last heat for you, mate.
Yeah, we're off the back the next one, so a bit of work, but hey, just got to enjoy it, don't you?
Okay, we are over here at the 82C Modified, and we've got Bonnie Sinclair here having a bit of a chat to us. So the wife is Steve Sinclair, mother, part of the crew, and you do a bit of racing yourself, Bonnie?
Yeah, I sure do, yeah.
Hi, I'm Steve Sinclair.
And I'm Bonnie Sinclair.
And we're from SRT Motorsport. I'm 82C. My home track is Woodford Glen.
So I race go-karts at Kartsport Cannery.
On a race night, we start probably before the race night. My wife Bonnie, she helps me so much, setting the car up, just checking everything out, doing the tyres. She's very methodical and writing stuff down and lists and stuff like that, which I'm not. Yeah, can't thank her enough. My father-in-law Chris, he helps set up the car as well at the track. Luke Regan, he is amazing, a big help as well, and both my kiddies, Sam and Brea. Yeah, it's a team effort.
So I previously raced grass karts, and I actually had a previous injury, which I used to ride horses, and couldn't do that any longer, so I swapped to grass karts. I've always had a bit of a passion for driving. At a younger age, owned a R32, helped Steve build that up as well. So yeah, from the grass kart I went to go-karting because it was a little bit hard on my back from my previous injury. Yeah, so now I've swapped seats, yeah.
Yeah, we are pretty competitive, but we kind of push each other as well, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. She probably thinks she's better than me, and I probably think I'm better than her, but yeah.
No comment.
And what about you, Steve? You had a go in the go-kart yet?
I have had one go on it, yeah, and she was faster than me. Speedway is pretty underrated, I reckon, coming from a Tahsil background. It's way more family orientated, there's way more input from your family. Everyone's together in all the teams, not just your team, and you get to know all the other families. For me, it's a no-brainer. Happens one night and it's done. It's not a whole weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, Speedway is pretty fun. Obviously, with our little kiddies, they can get more involved with it. My daughter actually wants to get a mini stock. She's a bit of a driver herself, so we're going to have our hands full very shortly, if we don't already. Yeah, but just the family orientation out there is just, you know, it's pretty fun compared to some other sports. Yeah.
There's a big season of modified racing coming up. If you can, go and check it out.
Yeah, so if you ever get the chance, come check us out at Canterbury Kartsport on Cars Road if you've ever got a weekend free.
So here we go. We're into the final stretch now, Jared, the final 3 heats.
Yes, it is. Recreation Hotel versus PG Hydraulics Group. The front row will be the Rocketman 99C of Ralph Boggan on pole. Jacob Mitchell's having a blinder run. He'll be on the outside of him. Hayden Corbin in the 20C beside him, Atama Holland in the 48 GM. Then we move back to Kevin Bannon in the 49C, having a quiet night to the outside of him, the 53 of Hunter. Then we go back to Parkinson and the 4C of Mike Gurley. And the last row will be Kalen in the 12S, to the outside of him, Fox, once again, has the hallmarks of an interesting race.
So they're winding up now. Jacob Mitchell off the front with Ralph Godwin. Plenty of fast cars further back though. Let's see how this one unfolds. Mitchell gets the jump, and so does the 48 of Holland. He goes into the back of Godwin. There's contact all through the pack.
That was what you'd affectionately refer to as a cluster.
A concertina effect back through the field as various cars.
As we watch it, Atama, actually I think Ralph ran over the front wheel of Atama and bounced in there, and he's dropped back down. How the cars following the likes of Kalen and Ban didn't it end up a whole lot worse, but when we watch it on the replay, Atama looks like he's managed to pull up beside Ralph, but somewhere in all of that, and Ralph wouldn't even have known the 48 car was there, he's driven over his right front wheel, so Atama was actually turned into, well, be Kalen.
So here we go, we're pretty slow and pedestrian, but Jacob Mitchell gets the jump, and away he goes into the distance. Hayden Corbett in the 22 in second place for the moment. 53 of Hunter's looking good. A little bit of, no, I don't think it was contact further back, but it was Brandon Parkinson just had to come off the throttle slightly and almost into the back of Foxy. But Mitchell has got a lead. Hayden Corbett, Kevin Band's taken the front straight on the infield there, not quite sure what that was about. Foxy trying to thread the needle, comes through past Parkinson. Parkinson's car just doesn't look as if it's quite doing what he wants it to do. And Jamie Foxx took advantage there. Coming up the inside of Hunter now, he's passed about 3 or 4 cars in the space of 1 lap, and he's into 4th place. Class driving by the 11 car. But Jacob Mitchell's out front, and he has got clear air in front of him, clear air behind him. All he needs to do is focus on his lines, focus on getting the throttle control 100% right, and just bring this one home. Hayden Corbett having the race of his life in second place there, with Mike Goulet tucked in behind him. Will Goulet hunt him down and pass? He's probably got the more powerful car. He's got a little bit of time to work that. He's going to have to defend against the 11 of Fox though, because Fox is closing on Goulet faster than Goulet's closing on Corbett.
Something's bent in the front of Parkinson's car. It just won't settle down at all.
Yeah, I thought there was some issue there. He hasn't got the pace that car should have. So Mitchell down the back straight, past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. He's got the whole back straight over the 22 of Corbett, who's got about 7 or 8 car lengths over the 4 of Mike Goulet, who is gradually falling into the clutches of the 11A car. So that's it. Those 4 are gone. Behind them we've got Kevin Ban, Atama Holland, the somewhat misbehaving 5 GM car, Barry Hunter at the back of the field, and Jacob Mitchell just carries on his merry way. He just needs to keep focused, keep concentrating, bring this one home. Corbett's holding off Goulet for the time being, and Fox just seems to have dropped off the back of Goulet a little bit. Not sure if these positions are going to change much by the end of the race. Goulet closing on Corbett a little bit there. Fox closing on Goulet, but there's not a lot between these cars. Hayden Corbett having a great run here. He'll be thrilled with the way that 22 machine's going. But he got a little bit sideways out of 4 there, and that's allowed Goulet to close up. And I just wonder if a pass on the 22 is going to be coming up shortly. Mitchell puts a lap down on the 53 car. Foxy keeping Goulet under very close observation there. Slightest misstep and he's going to push that 11 car into a gap. White flag now for Jacob Mitchell, all on his own, half a lap ahead of second place car of Hayden Corbett, who's holding off Mike Goulet. Fox goes just a little deeper and wider to see if there's a bit more grip out there, but he doesn't really find it. He drops off the back of Goulet a little bit. So there's your win to Mitchell. Second place Hayden Corbett, probably his best drive of the season. And third place Mike Goulet, just ahead of the 11 of Jamie Foxx.
Final battle down the end of the year, the 5 GM car handling like an absolute pig. Yeah, you can see that Parky was battling that one. Didn't think Mike Gurley was actually going to go through to where he did, but he still picked up 4 or 5 spots in that race.
He did.
And I guess this is about a quiet achievement. And when we get the rollout of the points, you're still going to be in that top 14 cars. As we look at the moment, Jacob Mitchell was actually topping it with Jamie Foxx, behind him by 1 point, and then Brad Lane. although to be fair, we still have a couple more heats.
Yep. Some of the top drivers still yet to complete another heat, so the points don't really mean an awful lot at this point in time.
But a great result for Jacob Mitchell, though.
Yes, a
Coming
really
into
good
this
drive.
weekend, you would not have picked that. Gurley sitting there on 22 points, probably done enough to comfortably get through. Of course, even if those points are a little bit shuffled at the end of the night, we have 2 more heats tomorrow as part of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified title here at Coke and Woodford Glen.
C, Jacob Mitchell here. You're the winner of the last heat. You won the heat before that. You got a blind overnight, mate. And you didn't just win that race. You won that by more than half a lap. What are you doing?
Oh, just driving it hard. I'm loving this drivey track at the moment. So hopefully tomorrow night's features drive as well. It's a shame that first race let us down a bit though, but we'll be right. 2 wins, can't complain. And I got it done on track this time.
That's all right. And I mean, your campaign for the New Zealand title is well underway. What do you think of your chances so far? Because you're looking pretty good to make to the feature final, and the way you're driving, I got to say, you're looking on the money.
Oh, well, yeah, I've had my back grid, which I gained a few spots, and then I've had my 2 front ones now, so we'll see what our mid back ones will do.